Perhaps if I could just ask a little bit more about the aircraft, the Airbus A319. Was it? You mentioned the cost. Was that a lease arrangement?
Yes, it is. It's a charter or lease arrangement, Senator.
So was it tendered out at all, or was it just a negotiation? Because you've worked with Customs, or they would be in the best position to provide the staff and personnel.
Senator, we're piggybacking on the lease, or using the lease effectively that our Antarctic division has with a private company, and that was tendered some years ago. It's an ongoing arrangement. Okay.
Can you give us an idea of the procedure, I suppose, if the boat spots a Japanese whaler? And do they, who's alerted? Is it go directly to you guys, or does it go to the Secretary of the Department or the Minister?
You're asking us to go to details of operations which we're actually not even privy to, Senator, let alone able to share. So in detail, as Ms Petrochenko said, the flight occurred and we were debriefed afterwards.
Mr Thompson, you mentioned a little bit earlier that you'd met, I think the words you said, you'd met the commitment or a commitment. Perhaps if I could ask Senator Cormann, my understanding was the commitment of your government going into the election was to send a customs vessel, the Ocean Protector, to the Southern Ocean. That was your official election commitment.
Well, we delivered.
Just a bit confused.
Well, I mean, if I can help you with your confusion, I probably would have to seek the assistance of Minister Hunt, so I will refer that question to him.
So you're not aware that you had an official
policy? I'm aware of the
commitments
commitments we made, and I'm also aware that we made the announcement in relation to that particular flight, and the flight took place. But all of the circumstances behind that, I think it'll be better if I refer that question to Minister Hunt.
I don't know whether it helps, Senator Minister. Minister Hunt put out a press release on the 13th of January, and in there he talked about using the aircraft as a way of meeting the government's commitment to monitor activities, and he highlights there that it's a remote and extensive area, so aircraft are easier to use on that basis, and it allows the government to monitor ships in what's a spread fleet, which is much harder with an ocean vessel. So that's the rationale that the Minister has said publicly, to deliver the spirit of that commitment by using an aircraft which has the greater flexibility.
Essentially, we get better bang for our buck.
Yes, I understand why you might say that, but I suppose the question I asked earlier, you may feel as though I was asking your opinion, but it's actually a very important operational issue here. Has it provided a disincentive for whaling, which is deemed illegal under Australian law? It's great that we're doing work in the international courts here, but if we'd sent a customs vessel, which would have been required to turn the Japanese whaling fleet back.
Except it's a very large area, and obviously you can't necessarily cover the same.
So I suppose if I could ask the question a different way, do you believe we've succeeded in your role in the Environment Department in stopping illegal whaling in the whale sanctuary or in the Southern Ocean this year?
Senator, I'll refer back to the previous question of your colleague, which refers to the case in the International Court. The way the system works under the International Convention for the Regulation of Whaling is that there is an article called Article 8, which Japan uses to issue itself permits. Australia does not view that what Japan is doing is scientific, views it as commercial in nature, and as a result, the government decided to take Japan to court, and we're awaiting that judgment now.
So could I don't know whether I could perhaps ask you this, but I could seek the Minister's advice on where I could get the answer. If the decision is made in our favour, does that mean next year we will take stronger action like sending a customs vessel?
Senator Whish-Wilson, I mean, that is again asking us a hypothetical question. I mean, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. I mean, if this happens, what happens, and we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Okay, because I suppose it's Sea Shepherd claim they're doing the government's work for them, and I'm actually quoting Minister Hunt's words there exactly from the last few years, that we should be doing our own work, and that's why he had a very clear policy on sending a customs vessel to provide a very strong disincentive. So,
Well, Sea Shepherd is doing what they choose to do. I mean, nobody forces them to do what they're doing.
no, they would be the first to admit that, Senator, that they do it to save whales because someone has to do that. I suppose the question begs, is it our responsibility, considering how strongly this issue is felt in this country, and what great work's already been done through the courts and through the federal court?
Well, we're doing the best we can, obviously within the constraints of the resources we've got, and we do our best to have the, best possible impact.
Okay. If the customs vessel wasn't off Christmas Island, Senator, acting as a water taxi in Operation Sovereign Borders, would we see it down in the Southern Ocean patrolling for illegal fishing? And
Well, the whole point is that you're well and truly stretching beyond the environment portfolio now. But I'm happy to indulge you. And the point I would make is the reason we've made such strong commitments to stopping the boats is because we did not want Navy and Customs vessels to be used as water taxis to bring, effectively illegal maritime arrivals to the Australian shores. I mean, the reason we are pursuing the strong border protection policies that we are is because we wanted to put a stop to that situation.
But whereas I respect your comments, Senator, I mean, if you were pursuing strong border activities,
Senator
you'd also be protecting the Southern Ocean.
We're not immigration here.
No, it's very important,
Because time
Chair.
is running out.
Okay, if I could perhaps just explain that. I mean, this boat was designed, it was ice rated, designed for the Southern Ocean. It had a job to do. It cost the taxpayer $150 million. The Liberals went in with a strong policy to send it to prevent illegal whaling and also to monitor illegal fishing. That was also a very clear policy for the Liberal Party. And both of those promises have been broken.
Well,
because the boat's being used,
I don't accept
because the
that.
boat's being used up in the tropical waters off Christmas Island.
Well, I don't accept that the promise has been broken. We are implementing it in a different way.
Customs vessel is a very clear promise.
Having taken all of the advice that one has access to in government, we are implementing the commitment we made in a different way.
Have you considered a different boat, perhaps, to
You're really stretching my area of expertise now, but maybe somebody.
But it is directly
maybe somebody at the table
it is
might be
directly
able to
related
assist
to
you.
stopping whaling.
The different one's jammed in the ice.
I think, Senator, that's what I referred to previously, that those types of decisions and the choice of appropriate vessel flight was made with advice, would have been operational information, and the decision was made by government.
And if I could perhaps say to that, we had a very clear indication from Minister Robb last week that the reason the customs vessel wasn't sent was because of the free trade deal with Japan, and they didn't want to cause a diplomatic incident. So that actually puts it in an entirely new light. Government decisions come from all sorts of departments.
With all due respect, I won't take your word for what Minister Robb said.
It's a direct quote in the media. I'm happy to provide it for you, Senator
Whish-Wilson,
Cormann.
ask you the last question, please.
That'll do me. I've had a good run. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. We'll now